Lesson 2. In this lesson, the new conventions of hot seating, soliloquy, and writing and role are introduced into the process drama work. We watch as Evelyn supports the students to reflect on their work through her use of reflective questioning, a key aspect of process drama. Then we finish this lesson once again with observations and reflections from Evelyn and Ashleigh.
If you can remember something that we did or talked about when I was working with your group by itself, put up your hand. We were changing it around, and we were changing them around to make them stronger and to make them feel more real. Who else remembers something? Do you remember something?
To fix them up.
Pardon?
To make them better or fix them up.
Okay, make them better or fix them up. Good way of describing it. Who else remembers something?
Make it exciting for the person that's watching it.
Yes, they've got to be exciting.
Make it look realistic, so like if you're in a boat you have to go over the side of it.
Right, now you're starting to really think. You're actually remembering what you did. Good on you. We had talked with this one group about if you're going to step out of the boat, how high is the side? Where are you stepping to? So just close your eyes for a moment and think about your group and what they did, because in a minute I'm going to ask you to do it. If you want people to have belief in the situation, or if you look at it from the other way, to suspend disbelief, then the more aesthetically pleasing the drama or theatre work, the more likely that is to happen. So it's to do with learning, from a drama perspective, it's to do with learning skills in working in drama, but in terms of the drama work, if you're asking everybody working in the drama and those who are watching to understand what the work is about, the refining of the work helps make it more real and gives it more depth. Whakarongo mai, te tiro mai. Are you ready to go into position? I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, freeze. I want you to freeze. Then I'm going to go play, and I want you to all do your piece at the same time. Then we'll have a sharing time. We'll see what's happening. Are you ready to go into position? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, freeze, play.
This bomb is gone.
3, 2, 1, freeze, play.
Is that land?
Where?
Over there.
There, me.
Oh, please.
When you go in that chair, I need to see the person that you were in the story. And remember, if you think about how these people are feeling, when he sits in that chair, he's just come out of that picture. When you sit down, you need to be aware of that. We need to be thinking, what do we need to know so that we can understand more about the people in this story? And you've given me a great list of sentence starters. But before you just say, I'm going to ask her this one, I want you to think about, what might that tell me? What do I need to know? The person that goes into the hot seat must be really clear that when they sit into the seat, they're not themselves. They're the person who comes from the story to be questioned. The thing is to be really clear that the person in the seat is in role. It's serious, and especially when the subject matter is really serious like it is today, you need to treat the people that you take on, the roles that you take on, with honesty and integrity, because you are representing real people in a real situation. And if you can achieve that, then the belief is more likely to be there. Hold that. Now have a look at what I was looking at. There is 3 really good facial expressions there. It's the first thing I look for. I look to see how are they feeling, because what do they look like? I have a look. Try to get back to what you were, good boy. And play. And freeze. You did really well. Actually, I'm going to show you a way of starting the seat. Can you sit in the seat as though you've just got out of that boat? Show me what that looks like. Feeling that way. Whatever you've finished with in your picture, show me that. 3, 2, 1, freeze. Okay, give me the 3 words again that tell me how it's feeling. How's this person feeling?
Injured. Scared. Relieved. Relaxed. Nervous.
That is an awful lot of different feelings. Is it possible to have a whole lot of different things inside you at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's have the questions. Yes.
Were you injured? Is that why the girl pulled you out because you were injured, or were you just getting help?
I was just getting help out of the boat because the boat was kind of wobbling. That's why he was holding the edge of the boat.
What has happened to make you like go on the boat?
We don't know. We just kind of just went on it.
Pause.
We were going because no like dangerous reason, but there was this guy that was giving us food because we're a poor family, so we can't pay for food, but he's a farmer and he's sending food over on boats. So we're going over to visit him to say thanks.
Why are you poor?
Because we don't have any food and not very much water, and if there is water, it's usually water from hoses or stuff.
Why can you not get money from the bank? We're poor because we've all got jobs, but our bosses don't pay us. No one pays us.
Pause. Did you hear that? These people have got jobs, but for some reason they haven't been paid. I wonder why that might be. I'm not asking you to answer me, just keep asking your questions.
How did you afford a boat?
Sorry?
How did they
How
buy
did you
the
Oh.
boat?
How to buy the boat?
We didn't actually buy it. We just found it lying somewhere. We thought we should take it. So if we had to go in water, we could just.
These are really poor people trying to get somewhere. Put up your hand if you think they've stolen the boat. Get your hand up if you think it's all right to steal the boat because you need it. Hands down. It's an interesting question, isn't it? You know, they're desperate. They've taken something that they need. Is that okay or is that not right? You stand up. I'm going to give you an instruction because I think you've been doing some pretty canny work there. Now just stand there and listen carefully. In a moment, I'm going to let him do what in drama we call a soliloquy. And a soliloquy is when one person just talks to the audience about whatever's happening, but it's from their point of view. So it's how you see it. I'm only going to let you have 3 or 4 sentences. If you had the opportunity to step out of the picture in that moment when you turned to lead the others away, what are the 3 or 4 sentences that are most important for you to say to these people? Whoa, yeah, from the moment you got out of the boat, what would be the 3 or 4 most important things these people need to know? Tell them as though you're that man.
We didn't steal the boat, we found it broken, so we brought it back and fixed it. It was a boat that no one else used.
It was a boat that no one else used. Is there anything else you want to tell us that you know?
They're the only poor family we live. And all the work, like boss people, are really selfish, so they don't pay us.
In making a choice to just hot seat one person from each story, that immediately eliminated the possibilities for others. but you've got the constraints of time, what we were trying to achieve in that session. And I became highly aware of the fact that sometimes there were people sitting in the rest of the group who knew a great deal and needed to contribute. In the particular instance you talk about, I watched that young man slowly, I suppose, come to the boil, and I knew that he was building in those moments rapidly a deep understanding of the story. And all I was trying to do was give him an opportunity to share his knowledge without breaking my rule of one out of every group, which would mean then I would have to open everything to the hot seat. And it's a lovely way of introducing a new convention, to find a place where you think it's going to work well and they will remember. Okay, what you're going to do now is don't worry about everybody else's story now, because you're going to go back deep inside your own story. In a minute we're going to give you a piece of paper and a pen each. I want you to imagine that whatever was in your story, it's the night after that. It's the night after that. Your thoughts are filled with what happened in the story, and you know you have to write about it. I want you to put up your hand if you can give a word to how you feel about the people in the stories that we're looking at. How do you feel for those people?
Scared?
What's the most scary thing for them?
Like dangerous and volcanoes and deadly stuff.
So you're saying they should be scared of perhaps being killed and dying? Thank you. Good answer. Yeah. What do you think you would say in a word about how you feel for those people? One word.
Sad.
Aha. What's the saddest thing?
Either some of your family members have died or you left them behind.
Okay, so there's the leaving behind of people, and that maybe you've lost them, they've died. Wow. Anyone else with how they feel about the work that we're doing and the stories that we're telling?
Empty.
You need to listen to this. Did you hear his answer?
Yeah, empty.
His answer was empty. Can you explain to me what you mean by feeling empty?
Like you know, your family has died and you feel like you have no more family left.
Okay, so it's kind of like you've lost everything and you're empty. There's nothing left for you. That was really a really interesting contribution. Thank you for that. And in order to reflect today, I wanted to get past just examining particular stories. So I asked in a word how they felt about the people in the stories that we were working with. And the surprise today was the little boy who said in a word he felt empty for those people, or those people would feel empty. I'm not sure exactly there, but I felt that was a really, he was seeking a word that describes a sense of having lost everything. And when we think of displaced people, that's a huge thing. They've lost pretty well everything. I think during the drama, people were starting to sense that when they could see 4 people sitting in a boat who had nothing with them, 4 people who climbed out and took nothing with them. So I know that those people they're beginning to examine that. But the little boy who said that empty was the word that described it, I felt had managed to, I suppose, evaluate the whole situation, and that was the most powerful word he could come up with, and it was pretty powerful.
Today I noticed more in-depth thinking. They started to think more in depth about how and why those people in those situations would be feeling and reacting. It became, why were they hurt? How were they hurt? What were their feelings? How were their family members feeling about that situation? And we had a lot more, I'd say a lot more participation. There were children in there that don't usually put their hand up, who were actually putting their hand up and expressing their ideas, which they are quite confident to do in their books, but this has made them more confident putting that out verbally. They haven't had a lot of experience with writing and role, and you could see that as half of them started to write a story from another person's perspective. So we'll end up taking it back into the class, exploring where they actually had that voice, they had that writer role, and then going back and then recrafting. And they're really good at recrafting, and we do it quite a bit. So they'll go back, recraft, but we also need to look at what's the most poignant part of that writing as well. So not just having a story that's written, it's what's the most powerful part of that story, because it could be one word, it could be a sentence, but to get them to understand that there is that poignant part of a story is the most important. So we'll go back and recraft that and have a look at that throughout the week.